Hello, Sheldon McDonald here. I got to do a couple videos to kind of help people figure out how my Qmidi Studio utility works in order to convert music MIDI files to either the Sega Genesis or the Color computer. So I'm just going to load it up. You can download this on my website. Let's have a look here. So if you need DirectX 9, there's Legacy here and N9C. You're going to want Qmidi Studio. You're going to want to download this, and it's a big file because it has a lot of digitally recorded sounds that make it sound a little better. Okay, so there's that. You have to download that. And then you come all the way down here. We've also got Dual IDE with the how to set up for Windows 10 and the download page. So you'll have to, my older version is 74, but I did like a massive update, so you have to actually click this one and download that version. Okay. All right, let's begin. So we're going to go to a website, www. Let me move my camera to the corner. Let's go to vgmusic.com, videogamemusic.com. Okay. Let's just grab an NES music. You know, I'm going to actually shove my face over there. Yeah, let's have a look. Let's see. What music should we try? Why don't we try? Let's see. Instead of NES, are these alphabetical? To be honest, I've got a lot of this stuff downloaded already. So anyway, this is a great treasure trove of MIDI files for converting. They're not all going to load on my utility, but most of them should. Okay, so we'll go into my Qmidi Studio and we'll run it. Of course, you won't have the ability to recompile it. That's if you ask nice. Let's see. Okay, so first off, we'll go File, Open. We'll go to Downloads. I got a bunch of music here. Let's pick. Let's see here. Something interesting. How about yeah, we could do this one. Let's do Mario Kart. So first thing you got to do is test to see if it loaded right. Okay. Looks like it loaded fine to me, but if it didn't, when you go to open your, let's go downloads again. What did I load there? Mario Kart 64, this one. So you'll see there's an option here. So I try to auto-detect the scaling size of the song. This was back in 2010, so I just, instead of doing the coding, I just made it so you can, fixing the coding, instead of that I just made it so you could dump your own number in there. So for example, this one loaded with the value 12 for spacing. I think you can double it and it will, let's go 24 for example. It'll load that song, I believe, smaller. And you can hear it's playing faster. So it's scaled it down. Okay, and obviously that one probably sounded better not scaled like that. So we'll go back to downloads here. Load this in. You can stretch it out further. Let's see what we got. As you can see, it's stretched way out now. Of course, you can always play with the tempo. Okay, but we're not going to do that. We'll just put it the way it was. So we'll go downloads, we'll load MK. Okay, we'll load at normal scale that it auto detected. Okay. So now, this is kind of the deal for the Sega and the color computer. The color computer using my SID chip. Let me grab one. Okay, this fellow right here. Okay. Alright. And this card is currently, my programming examples all use the external speakers out. I don't use any of the internal stuff because it conflicts with joystick input, in my opinion. So anyway, it is possible to change that. But anyways, back to the song. So we got a song loaded. Okay. Okay. So the way the Sega works is it's going to use the first 4 channels. Okay. So we got these 4 channels here. So what you need to do is move channels around. So let's have a look and see where the bulk of music's coming from. So I'm going to take this one, we'll take Tools, Copy Track, and I see that it could easily fit in with this one, so I'm going to say Merge Channel. Okay. Okay, so now we'll go back, we'll hit play here, so I'm going to delete that. Tools, Delete Track, yes, okay. Let's see what we got. I did see something happen on this channel, but we'll just delete it. I don't think anything exciting is happening there. Okay, last part. So we've got this song on 4 channels, plus the percussion is over here. So now we're going to go Tools, and we're going to reduce tracks to singles. Okay, so what that does is it takes the highest tone out of each channel. So let's listen now. So it might have did some cutting. Okay. You can see there's only one note that can play on a channel at a time. so it's took anything else off. Okay, so now we're going to go. Now this is something you cannot undo. There's not an edit undo on this utility, so if you want to save it now, you should save it, save a copy or whatever. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to click on this. We're going to say prep sega 4 channel 1. Okay, so now you'll see it's merged all 4 channels onto one. And with this, now we're going to go Tools, Export MIDI. We'll go Desktop. We're going to go Sega MIDI MDM. And we'll call this Mario K. Okay, and I'll save it. Okay, so now we got this file here, Mario K MDM. Okay, we're going to do one more version of this. So now let me open this. So downloads. We'll load it again. Where are you? M. Where is M? Right there. Okay, so we loaded this again. Now, the only difference now is that we're going to prep for the SID chip instead. Now that file we just made, that would actually run perfectly, flawlessly on a 2 SID stereo system, so you wouldn't have to convert it any differently. But now we're going to do 2 other exports on this same song, okay? Which are directly, I guess, targeting one single SID chip. Okay, so let's go through this again. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll take this, Tools, Copy Track, Tools, Merge Copy Channel. Okay, let's see where we are. Back this up here. Okay, this one can be deleted, so we'll delete that track. Okay, so now we should be just dealing with 4 again, right? Okay, so now the difference is with a single SID chip, we only got 3 channels. Okay, so we need to knock this channel out. So we just need to make sure that these tones, if this is essential to the song, that it should either be in this place or this place. Okay, but this is the one that's going to get killed on not having a stereo setup. Okay, so let's back this up. Let's just see what we're dealing with. So we're going to take this one, we'll copy this track, and we're probably going to merge that one right there. So we'll merge that copy channel. Okay, so then this one we can go Tools, Delete Track. Okay, so now what are we dealing with? So I'm going to move this one. So we're going to go Tools, Copy Track, and then we'll go Tools, Paste Track. Okay, and then we can go ahead and delete this track. Tools, Delete Track, yes. Okay, so now we're dealing with a song that will work on the SID. Okay, so let's save this now. So same deal. We need to reduce tracks to singles. Okay, so now you've got single notes on a single track. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to go Tools. Now, before I do this, I'm going to save a copy. So we're going to go Save. I'm just going to save this on the desktop as test MK. Okay, just so we can do two things with this. Okay, so the first part, we're going to save for the regular player that was built for the Coco Fest show. So I'm going to go ahead and click Prep Sega 4 Channel 1. Okay, so now it put all those into one channel. Okay, now we'll export that. Export to desktop. And we're going to call this one the same as the Sega MDM. Okay, so we're going to just call this for SID. Okay, save. Okay, so now we have a SID one, and then we have one for the this one here. We have this one for the Sega. So one last thing we're going to do with this now. There's three formats. Okay, the last one. Let's grab. It's right on the desktop again. That I just saved. So this was before doing the hard edit. Okay, let's see what we got. We're going to take our chances. We're going to copy this track. Okay, and we're going to merge it here. We'll replace it. Let's just see what happens. Okay, and then we'll delete this track. Delete. And delete. Okay, so now we should be left with two. Okay, looks like that's somewhat there. You have to play around with that. Looks like it works to me though. Okay. One other thing is that currently what the MML, so I'm going to actually export the MML code. So in this one you have to keep it in single tracks, so it'll take these first two. Now we'll go Tools, Export. We're going to go on the desktop again, and we'll call this MK64. We're going to change this to Coco ML2 channel and save. Okay, so those are the three things that we were going to do today on Qmidi Studio. So what do we have? Now we've got this file, we've got this file, we've got, this is the making of the third file. Okay, this is the one we'll use for music macro language. Okay, so let's go into the editor now, and let's see how we put these in. Okay, so we'll go to Dual IDE. So we'll go, let's make a new project. This one will be for Sega Genesis, and we'll just call this test MIDI. Okay. Okay, so we'll go in here. Let's see what we got. Okay. Now the only thing is I never prepped any instruments here. I probably should have. But you know what? We'll put it in anyway because you need to see how it's done. Okay, so let's start off with opening library help. Okay, we'll go into the Sega. We're going to use the Z80. Is that the one we've got branched up there? Let me just take a quick look. Yeah, S_Z80. So we're going to open that library. This one here. Okay, so we got a couple commands. We need to initialize the sound. Okay. Looks like we did that already. Okay. And then we need to set up some patches. Okay. So I'm going to grab this command right here. Whoop. Okay, so we're going to pop these in right here. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Generally, you want to just set up all 6 channels. Okay. So I'll just pop these over. Okay. Now, channel. So with the Sega Genesis, you've got channel 0, channel 1, channel 2, and then up on the top you've got channel 4, 5, and 6. Okay. Balance. We'll just keep it centered, so we'll make all these 3. I feel like there's an easier way. That's because there is. Okay, now address. We're going to call this all the same instrument, so we'll just go INS1. Do the same thing here. Okay. Do that. Replace. Okay. Now, I've got all those in there. All nice and even. Oh. Okay. Now, the only thing we're missing now is an actual instrument. Okay, so we'll copy this and we'll load one in. Okay. Let's see here. So let's put one here. Okay, so that will be the tag for it. I will have to do a quick lookup to find one. Save and close that. We'll go to the Sega examples here. I have a side-scroll demo that just happens to have some instruments. So we're going to take, this one should be probably a piano. Okay, so we'll close that. And we will open our test MIDI program. Okay, we'll go down to Instruments, and we will post that one right there. Okay. Alright, so we have an instrument. Last step here is to actually play the music. So, let's have a look at that library again. Z80. Okay, so now we've just got that's not needed. Actually, it's probably in there already. Oh, it's not. Okay, so this needs to be added. So we're going to take this command here, ym update player. So copy that, and we will dump that into the interrupt code. Okay, So now it's also going to update music player. Okay. Now, last thing is to actually just say play the dang thing. So right here, this command here should play it. So let's copy this, and we will dump this right here. So, in order to play this, we'll also need to have that file. So we want to use this one here, Mario K. So I'm just going to hit the folder button here, and we're going to drop that into, actually let's copy that. I don't want to completely move it. So now it's in the working folder. Okay. So the address, we're going to just call it music1. Okay. So music1. We'll go way at the bottom here. Let's go to include file, and we're going to, oops, not that one. Heck no. Let's redo that. Let's go include file. I want the Mario K MIDI, and we'll say this is music 1. Okay. Now, where we're trying to load it, we got music 1 in there. Playback, so if we put 1, it's going to play once. If we put 2, it should loop it. Okay. Speed of playback, we're going to have to figure this one out. Trial and error, let's put a 2 in there. Key of playback, default, you should throw a 12 in there. And percussion volume. I don't know that that's being used. I really don't think it is, but we'll put 15 in there just in case. Let's assemble this and try it out. Okay, looks like it assembled. A little fast. So this is what I'm talking about, trial and error. Let's slow it down. Okay. Pretty simple. I try to make it look simple, but it looks overwhelming, but it isn't really. I mean, I've done all the heavy lifting. Okay, so if you want to get funky, you can change it. So left speaker, right speaker, both speakers, left speaker, right speaker, both speakers. Now it should sound interesting. I don't know if this recording app is doing stereo, but probably not. But we'll load that in anyways, just for fun. Okay. Okay, sounds fine to me. Okay, save and close. That's the first example. Sega's done. Okay, what did we do with the Sega? The only thing we did was we added a couple commands here of loading instruments, setting the patches, okay, and then we told it to play. Okay, down at the bottom, we included a generic instrument. We've added the Mario MIDI that was exported, and boom, and we also added the music player into the interrupt 6. Okay, and that'll automatically be firing with this editor, so you just have to throw code in there, it'll get included into the interrupt. Okay, let's open the next project. So the next one, we go into, let's see, Coco Libraries. Okay, so the Coco Libraries file has an awful lot of libraries in here. This is where the libraries are located and how I save them. There's an awful lot of stuff in here. There's one thing we're going to do though. Let me just check if I included it or not. Close current project, yes. Oh dang, I didn't. You know what, I'm going to include this file in here. I'm going to grab it from my stuff here, and it's actually the Coco SID player project. Okay, so I'm going to add this in here. So we're going to paste that. So this is the Coco SID player. I'm going to update that right now, so if you download Dual IDE after this video, it'll be included in here. Okay, so let's go to Coco SID player, and we're going to go ahead and load that project. Okay, so we'll go open project, Coco SID player, and there we go. Okay, so there's two things. If you have the stereo set up, you can click here where it says SID chip mono. Instead of this one, you can right click, include library, and instead of that one you can go SID chip S, I believe, which stands for stereo. Okay, that one will run just lovely. Okay, if you're doing the single SID chip, which most people will be, you'll want to use the library that I've already got loaded here, SID chip mono. Okay, so how does this thing work? Well, this is already a player on its own, but we can make a new one. But before we do that, I'm going to show this anyway because this kind of has some setup on here. You can see there's a bunch of MDMs already on here. All we got to do is add, go onto the desktop, and I can load Mario K MDM. So that was the one that would work for stereo. This one here though, the Mario K SID, I had purposely prepped for a single SID chip. So I'll open that one, and my disk is full. We're going to delete this one temporarily. Okay, that way I can show how this works. There's another executable SID mono. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and try this again. Add from the desktop. We're taking Mario K SID. Okay, so now we have Mario K SI.mdm. Now, when I load this program, it's going to show all these files, but there's some initial setup that needs to be done for this specific music player. And I put it right into the RS-DOS header. So we'll right-click on that, click left and then right. You should be able to go to Edit SID Music Header. Now, be careful. You can actually do this on any file. But, well, actually maybe you can't. Let's find out. Let's grab the executable. Yeah, you can apparently. So that's not good. Anyway, I'll fix that. So what we want to do, click Mario, this one here. Okay, Edit SID Header. So now this is where we're going to set up all the instrument stuff. So, and this is what sets the song up for the player. So it has to be format 88. Playback speed, we've figured out on the other one needed a 4. Loop always, so we can put a 0, but with the music player, we've designed it so it just loops a couple times. So we'll put once. Okay. The first one, this first channel, I believe, was strictly for percussion, so it's going to be ignored. Okay. Now we can change the instruments. We got pulse, square wave, and sawtooth. So you can put multiples on. Okay. Let's go PT. Yes, okay. So make sure they're all gated. If it's not gated, it's not going to play any noise. You can play around with the filters, and this is the time counter, but we don't know what it is until we actually play the song. And then you can go in here and edit it. Okay, so I'm going to hit apply. Let's look at Contra, for example. It's got 88, play speed of 1, loops twice. And you can see how all the instrument setup is here. It's also actually got, this one has a filter setup and a resonance setup, and it's applied across different filters, and the timing looks like it's 1 minute and 28 seconds. Okay, so you would have to go in there and modify it. Okay, now all you have to do here, we'll hit assemble. Okay. Okay, I'm going to talk about a little bit of setup for VCC if you're a first-time runner, just to make sure you get it right. Don't worry about this disk full. Actually, yeah, you should worry about it. What I'll do is I'll delete this, okay, and we'll rebuild the executable, and this time it'll fit. Okay. Little bit of setup that needs to be done. Okay. So you can see it's loading the wrong disk. That's awesome. So what needs to be done here? We'll go cartridge, load cart. So we got an MPI. It's loading rom.disk. Okay, so what we'll do, let's insert. Actually, that is correct. Open. Okay, so we got that loaded. We'll close it, and we're going to save this under. Oh, I know what it's doing because I have 2 loads of VCC. So what we'll do on this one specifically, I'm going to open. Actually, we don't need to do that. It's actually done, the setup's done on the emulator, so we'll just set it up. I'll show you how to do it. It's loading the wrong disk image, basically. Wow, my light's really starting to shine in here. There we go. Get those off of my face. Okay, disk full, whatever, doesn't matter. Wrong disk anyways. So what we'll do, we're going to go ahead and we'll insert the disk image. So if we look at this, we're looking at the wrong folder, so we're going to go desktop, and I happen to be, let's see here, I happen to be right here, so I'm going to load this one instead. So let's assemble it again, and then this time it should just be loaded. Okay? You should only have to set that up once, but if you move your directory of where dual IDE sits, then you'll have to set it up again. Okay. Okay, so now you should actually see the right disk image, which we do, and you see there's a Mario Kart. So I can go in there and press play. Boom, it's playing. The only thing is with this one, we can't hear it because I don't have a SID chip on my Windows PC. But you can see by the graph table there that is in fact playing. Okay, watching the timer, you can figure out how long the song actually is. You can edit it and dump it in. Okay, I've added an extra thing, C, which can disable the percussion because the percussion's kind of sharing a channel. It's kind of a prototype, but that's kind of how that's being done right now. Okay, that is the easiest way to test your music file. Now, how do we do this if this is a brand new project? Well, let's do it. Brand new project. So let's go new project, color computer, and we're going to call this test SID. Okay, and save. Okay, so on the header, you can change the file name. This is called CC-ROM for now. It's already loading SID MML. Okay, so we can do the MML one first. Yeah, let's do the MML one first. Okay, so I'm just going to move this again. We're going to open library. This time we're on the Cocoa side, and we'll go to sid/mml. Okay, it gives me two commands. This is very simple. Okay, well, very easy. Let's go init sid/mml. Boom, initialized. And then there's one command to play it. So we'll copy that and we'll paste it here. Okay. Tab. Channel. You can go channel 1, 2, or 3. You can simultaneously play multiple MML channels at once, which is pretty sweet. And that's how you're going to play sound effects. Okay, so we'll load the music into channel 1. Instrument. Let's say channel. Let's put 3 on there. Let's talk about the instruments. I think I have a little capture picture here. This isn't actually. Oh, it's an X. Okay, here we go. We're looking at how an instrument is coded. So we've got a noise, a pulse, a sawtooth, a triangle. Okay, we're going to look at those 4 bits. Let's say I wanted sawtooth, and if we didn't have data bits 0 through 3, and we just shifted that over, we'd be looking at 2 for sawtooth. We could be looking at 3 for sawtooth and triangle, or 4 for pulse, or we can mix it up any way we want. Let's go ahead and just put a 4 for pulse. Playback. Playback, we're going to have it loop, so we'll put a 2 in there. Put a 1 if you only want it to play once. The speed of playback, we'll put that in as a 2. 0 is the fastest. And then we'll put a music 1 inside there. And now instead of returning to basic, I'm going to do something a little more simple. Do loop. BRA do loop. Okay, now it's just going to infinitely loop. Last thing we're missing is the music. There's no music yet. Let's look at those files that Qmidi Studio just created. Okay, we've got these 2 here. Okay, so the first one, this is for the first channel. Let's grab this, copy it, and we'll paste that into our editor. Okay, it needs to be capital, so don't convert it. This one, however, should probably be lowercase. Okay, there you go. And we probably don't want the $ in there either. And at the end, we need something to close out the sound so it knows the music's done. Let's go FCN. Okay, and we'll just go F. We'll do that all lowercase there, FCN. Okay, now that's one part. The Mario Kart second channel. Here's the second channel. Let's grab this. Okay, copy, we'll close that, and we'll paste it in. Again, I'm going to make that lowercase. Okay, and we need to close it out, so we'll put an FCN at the back. Okay, now all we got to do is go like this, copy, paste, and we'll put that into channel 2. And this is the second string of text, and voila, that would actually play. I would assemble this. I can assemble it now, but it's not gonna do anything for a pretty big reason, because we don't have a SID chip. Okay, but it is actually playing right now. Okay, that's how that one works. How does the other one work? Well, it's the preferred one to use. The other one is going to use the other library. So I'm going to go ahead and save and close that. Now we're going to open, actually no, we're going to make a new one, new project, color computer. We're going to call it sid MDM. Okay, save. So this is a sid MDM project. So now we need to change this MML library. Instead, we want to include sid chip s. Oh, no, actually that's not true, unless you got the stereo version. Instead, we'll include library sid chip mono. Okay, and then we'll comment this one out. Take that one out. Okay. Now, how does this one get loaded? Well, let's look at the library for sid chip mono. Okay, this one's got more commands, as you can see, but we still only need to use a couple of them. Okay. We're also going to need a way to load this thing. Okay. There's the disk library. We could load that in and load it off disk. Okay. And as you can see here, there's a few commands that need to be done for the disk library, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to include the file into the program for now, just for simplicity. So let's do this. I'm going to right click, include file as dc.b. So click on that, and you're going to load from the desktop. We want this one. Okay, open. Okay, so we've got an entire song loaded right there, which is pretty crazy. We can call that sid music. Okay. Don't worry about closing that one out. It closes itself out. Also, don't worry that it has 68K programming. The dc.b will automatically be converted to FCC, but we can do that anyway. Let's go dc.b. We're going to change that to FCC. Okay, don't put FCN because a lot of this is continuous playback. Oh, actually, sorry, this isn't even text. FCB. Change it to FCB. So we're going to right-click all of that. Or sorry, not right-click. Left drag over that. Right-click and hit replace. Now all the dc.b's are now FCB's. Okay, song is loaded. Last of all, we need to initialize the SID chip. So we'll pop this out. Copy, and we'll go tab, paste. For the SID chip itself, just leave this as a 0. I don't use the TV source. Okay. I don't even know if it's coded in there. It's there, but I haven't really tested it. Okay, so now you can go SID play music, and we'll pop this in. Copy. Tab, Control V. Pretty simple. Music address, so we would dump that in. We'd go the address for SID underscore music. Playback, again, 1 is to play once, 2 is to loop it. Play speed, we had discovered that the play speed for this song was 4. And loops, I kind of forgot about this, but you should probably put a 1 there because it loops the song. So this other command here is kind of invalid. Oh, 1, 2, like it's not even looking at that anymore. It's using loops. Okay, this all you need to do here now is put a do loop and a BRA do loop. Okay, and this would absolutely execute. And it's playing music, even though you can't hear it. Okay, so I've showed you 3 ways to load this sucker in. 1 for the Genesis, and 2 methods for loading it into the color computer. And there's various examples for the Commodore 64 that can be easily converted. The basic ones can easily be converted into the Coco. The only thing you got to remember is the MPI arbitration. Let's have a quick look at that. Okay, let's have a quick look at that library. And by the way, you have the source code for these libraries. If you go to Sega Libraries, I've got all the Sega libraries here, everything that it's pulling up. But I meant to actually load the color computer one. Coco libraries. So have a look at this. You've got everything I've worked on. Everything I do is free. Just take it. Change it. I don't care. It's meant to make programming easier. Let's look at SID chip mono here. Okay, so we'll scroll down. Let's look at the MPI setup code. Okay, so the first one you want to do is SID or init SID. So that is located right here, SID chip. If we open this library, Coco, we've got SID chip mono. You've got SID chip. That one enables the SID chip. Okay. Let's scroll down a little bit. Now, there's a lot of awesome things right here. All the tones, it's all there. All the frequencies needed. Okay. This should be easy for you to take it, rip it out of here, and make your own player if you want. There's a length table. The length table is kind of, well, it's compatible for my stuff. Maybe you don't need it. Okay, so the MPI stuff that I was talking about. Okay, it starts right here. So you want to load the address FF7F, okay, and A240, and store it. And you'll call that your boot slot. You'll logically shift right that value 4 times and A12 to it. Add the boot slot back in and store that as the SID slot. Now if you have a stereo SID setup, you can add another 1 to that value and store that as a second SID slot. Okay, and that's how you're going to switch between the 2 cards. You'll load that slot and store it at FF7F. Okay, now I go back, I load a FF7F, and I store that as the boot slot. Okay, the only way this works is if you've loaded this program and nobody has played with that value. Then it'll remember what the boot slot was, so every time the music player loads up, it switches to the SID slot, does all your notation, switches back to the boot slot, and returns, all in the span of an interrupt. So, last of all, what I've done with this player, I've got it so it also opens up RAM mode. Okay, so as soon as the RQ fires, it goes RAM mode in case if you've dumped music into, say, basics memory location. Okay, and I do that a lot with my programs. I load music right into where the basic ROMs are sitting. Okay, I do that to conserve on space. Okay, and then when the player exits, it returns it back to RAM-ROM mode. Okay, not exactly the best thing for the Color Computer 3 because it was already in RAM mode. But it's not going to hurt anything because you're in assembly anyway. Okay, so it's perfectly fine what I've done here. Yeah, that's about it. If you scroll down, you can see how a frequency is loaded in and fired. All right, we'll make this the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Hopefully that wasn't too complex, too crazy. Qmidi Studio has its quirks. It's an old program I've made back in 2010, and I've been just hacking it. to do these later things, because it's easier to hack it than it is to start a new program from scratch. Yeah, that's about it, I guess. All right, thanks for watching.